Okay, we will see cost object controlling today. What we have seen so far is standard cost estimates, which is at the product cost planning level. So, which means that when you manufacture a product, we talked about how do you cost the material or finished product based on, we talked about routing, we talked about work centers, recipes, labor cost, overheads and all this stuff. Those are for the planning. when you when you produce a material which is a finished product, so you basically create a bill of material. So when you're assembling a finished car, Camry, you put in all the components that you need, right? Which is basically your raw material. The first thing is your raw materials. Then you put in your routing, which is your the processes like painting, assembling, galvanizing, whatever it is. So then you calculate all the costs captured under these activities. Okay, for a batch, for let's say you are manufacturing 1,000 cars, you calculate all the planning, how much it will cost. Then once you have that, what you basically will do is there's something called standard cost estimate run. You run that it's basically called costing run. In other words, you run the estimate, then you mark it, then you release it. Once you do that, you have a price. You have a planned price. You have a planned price for the finished goods, right? Make sense? So once you have the price for the finished goods, you will mark, you will release it, then that will become your future planned price, right? Because you have not started manufacturing yet. So usually, typically in a company, I'm not sure you guys taking notes. I would really encourage. This typically happens during the middle of the year because next year they're going to plan. They will be planning what is my forecast. What is I'm going to produce next year. How much chocolates, how many number of cars, how many number of tires, and how many number of wheels. Whatever any manufacturing company, they have to have the forecast in place for next year. How would they get the forecast? Can anyone tell me? So sorry, what did you say? Uh-huh. Yep, correct. Yes, they could get the estimates, or they would actually know. They plan ahead, right? Next year, how much they want to make. Hello, are you guys there? I, I thought somebody dropped off. Okay. So the marketing managers, the vice president sales, they know how much they're going to make next year because they set the targets for all the salespeople. For all the salespeople, they will set the target. They will set the target for the distributors. They will set the targets for distributors. Then based on that, they will project their they will forecast. Then they will produce. The forecast they are planning, and they'll plan for the production schedule. So usually, like I said, usually that this cost estimate, I'm talking about cost estimate, will happen during the middle of the year for the next year planned prices. So once they have that, they will start manufacturing the product. Okay. So that's about the product cost planning. That's about product cost planning. But this is where something happens. Even though you plan perfectly based on your material, based on your labor cost, everything you plan perfectly, there's something that tends to happen is the variance. Sometimes you will not be able to achieve the same cost of production. It could be negative or it could be positive, right? Based on your actual activities consumed or actual materials you consumed. Is that right? So how would you know your exact product cost? So that we'll do in product cost. The first one we talked about is product cost planning. The next one is product costing. So in product costing, there are two things. There's something called cost object controlling. Okay, when I say cost, you know what is a cost object? We talked about this last time. Yeah, what's a cost object? So Nabil, you have a book. Yeah, I guess you are reading the book. What is a cost object? So cost object is something that carries or captures the cost. Okay, that's called cost object. Okay, it could be a cost center, it's a production order, internal order, or WBS, or it could be a sales order. Okay, right. So again, what's a cost object? Hello. Yep. Anything that captures the cost. Yep. So typically in a company, what they do is there's something called discrete manufacturing versus repetitive manufacturing. Hey guys, I think I asked you to do this, right? Correct? I think I gave this, right? I gave this to look at it, to explore it and get back to me, right? Did you? Any of you? I guess I sent this to you, right? I sent you an email to look at this, right? So what's discrete manufacturing? Oh, it's the first time you guys are seeing this? Okay. What's that? Oh, did he leave? Oh, okay. Yeah, I think so. Nabil? No, man. That's okay. You'll get back. So we have discrete manufacturing versus repetitive manufacturing. By name it says discrete manufacturing, right? When you say discrete, it's subject to or specific to a particular requirement, right? Can I say that, right? It's not discrete manufacturing is something that that's based on a purpose. You have a sales order for somebody is giving a purchase order, right? Hey, I want to buy X number of finished product from you. Then based on that you go and manufacture, right? So if not, what happens if you just manufacture? There's no order. If you just manufacture, your inventory will go up, right? That's going to cost a lot of money because your inventory, it's idle. It's just idle cost, and people wouldn't want to keep a lot of inventory unless they know for sure they're going to sell this. So discrete manufacturing process is where you produce goods based on a sales order. Okay. Then something called repetitive manufacturing. So repetitive manufacturing is something um, like you continuously do it, whether you sell it, whether you order it, you continuously make it, like packaging materials, right? Or so this is something that you just keep on manufacturing. This is called discrete manufacturing. Let's get back to the PowerPoint. So we talked about product cost by order or by period. So there's something called product cost by period and product cost by order. Okay. Um, when you say product cost by order, like I said, if you look at this timeline here, okay, this is one order they manufacture. Okay, right? So they this is if you look at the timeline, this is one product. This is one, this is product cost by order. This timeline shows you this is by period. So every month, every period, end of the period, okay, they have to settle the cost. Okay, when they settle, when they say settle, when I say settle, they collect all the costs, into a production order, and then settle this to a finished goods. Okay, then you, so how would, let's say, you collect, okay, um, like I said, you have a purchase order from a customer, and he wants you to buy, like, let's say, 100 cars. Then based on that, you have order for 100 cars. You go and do a material requirements planning, right? You go and you do a material requirements planning based on how much I need, how much material I need, how much tires I need, how much wheels I need, how much paint I would need, how much, you will do all this, right? So then you start manufacturing it. So once you start manufacturing it, all the costs go into this manufacturing order or production order. When I say all the costs will go into this, because your production order becomes a cost object. Okay, you set this production order as a cost object, then anything that you post, you will post all the expenses into this production order. So in SAP, so what happens was, let's say goods issue. Okay, when the goods issue to production order, for example, you're issuing raw materials. Okay, 100 quantity, each $100. That will be $100,000. No, that's about $10,000, right? When they issue goods, there's something called, let's say, production order A. Okay, they will assign this production order to this. When they issue the raw material, they will issue this to the production order A. So similarly, the next thing, another raw material, B, 50 quantity, each $50. Then that works out to be $2,500. Then this cost will go into the production order A again. Okay. Then there's something called, these are direct costs, right? You know what is the direct cost and indirect cost? For example, well, why cost of nails would be indirect? Because you know perfectly how many nails you would need, right? You know how many nails you would need to for the carpenter to make the table, right? So that's direct cost. Yeah. So indirect cost is, you have a shop floor, correct? You pay rent. So you pay in the shop floor. You have a shop floor. You have a warehousing. It's all you pay rent for this. To storing this. All this stuff. Those are direct costs. So yep. So then these are the product. Then what happens was after that. So these are direct costs, right? So indirect costs. Labor cost. Okay. Let's say painting cost. galvanizing cost, right? So how would they allocate the painting cost here? Per piece. So this will they will estimate, right? Let's say today in a day they manufacture somebody paint 100 bicycles, so they will figure it out how many bicycles per hour. So how much she is paying for the painter, right? So they have the painting cost for each bicycle, right? Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I made a mistake. You're right. You happy now? Good. No, no, yeah, it's actually it's good. I was just thinking about it. So your indirect cost comes to the costing sheet. Okay. I mean the thing why I want to put in different bucket was different for different purpose. So this is raw material. This is activities. But instead of activities, I put indirect cost. Right. The first one and two are materials. The rest are activities. So this is something called the first thing when they issue goods, right? They when they issue goods, they know exactly which production order they're issuing for because the raw materials are physical, right? It's physical quantity, right? You go to Costco, you know the stuff you're carrying it, right? You can tell them your guy is buying this, you're buying this, he's buying so many quantity. But there's a customer service. Can you tell him, hey, this guy has bought X number of customer service. This guy has bought, Y number of delivery. No, right? You can't do that. So who would make the call? The guy, the customer service people, they will allocate this based on number of hours each customer service officer spent, right? So likewise, the first direct cost raw material they are physical. We know exactly how many we are issuing to the to the production to manufacture, let's say X number of products, because we already know how many nails we need. We already know how many tiles we need. But activities we wouldn't know, right? It's only after math. Once everything is done in the factory in the shop floor, once the task has been carried out, then the production manager or the work center manager would know how many hours they spent. Correct? Is that right? Yes. Once the production manager knows, once he know that okay, this is the number of times, this is the number of hours they spend, he will then allocate something called settle. Okay. If you have to go in detail, the production manager confirm the number of hours spent. Okay. Once he confirm, he allocate. He says in the production order, he goes and enters. Okay, this many number of hours painting, this many number of hours galvanizing, this many number of hours packing. He put this is called confirm. Okay, because in the painting department they will be probably dealing with 1,000 other products. So the production manager he decides okay how much is spent for this production order, how much is for this production order. Then basically he goes and confirms the number of hours spent. Okay, once he confirms the number of hours spent, so the production order okay captures all the hours and the rate. Correct. After that, something called production order settlement. Once he confirms it, this is called production order settlement, or they call it Yeah, when the production order settlement, all the costs captured into the production order would finally settle to the finished product. Raf, with Rubai? Okay. So all the costs captured into the production order would finally settle to the finished product. So what I was trying to say is, until this moment, okay, only the production order has all the costs, right? So where is your finished goods? So where is your finished goods? Do you have finished goods? Do you have any finished goods? Yes, you don't have any finished goods yet. So you may have some, but it's not through this production order. So you don't have any finished goods, right? So all the costs will be carried out at the production order level. Then there's called settlement. During the production order settlement, okay, all the costs captured in the production order would finally settle to the finished product. Okay, so sure. Bring this guy here.
Um, 9 equals 4 plus equals 5.
Okay. Yesterday night when I put him to sleep, he all of a sudden he woke up and asked me, "Appa, what is a GL account?" And he asked me, "What is a GL account? What is Dunning?" Um, so I'm trying to give an example here. Yep. See here.
Another one, caustic.
Yeah, these are the material costs: soda,
What's
ethylene, EDC. This is per piece, per unit. These are materials. Then you have internal activities, which I said your
what's
actual activities,
caustic?
your labor activities. Then, sorry,
Overheads.
yeah, no, yeah, no, these are direct costs too, because these are our friend Amit said, it's our direct cost too. Overheads are the indirect cost. Okay, so your total is $8 per piece. Okay, so this is what it says. You have a confirmed order operation. Okay, when I say you collect all the cost in an order, right? When you collect everything, then you confirm it. When you say confirm it, you confirm finally. You confirm everything that whatever captured in the order is correct. Your raw material is correct. If you have any goods issued but that's not been used, you basically take it back. Okay, that's called back flush. When you back flush it, let's say you might have put in the production order more than actually it's consumed, correct? But in the production line, they may have used only like 10 pounds of soda, but actually in the production order you would have used
10 pounds.
11 pounds of soda, caustic soda. So when you
You
back
mean the
flush it, once you confirm it,
soda?
you basically tell the system that, finally I used only, this is actual cost, remember, this actual cost. You put in the system saying that I only used 10 pounds, but in the plan, when you actually plan for 11 pounds, when you confirm it, then you backflush it. When you backflush it, it goes back. When yeah, it goes back to inventory and it reduces the cost in the production order.
You said soda.
Then now, no, because like I said, in a production order, you only manufacture for a certain number of product. You would not manufacture. You would not manufacture more than what you need, right? Good question. Yes, when it's a back flush, um, it works the way. If you have used more than what it is, then it goes to the cost goes to the production order. If you have used lesser, it goes back to the inventory. You got it? Sorry. Okay. Let's say you have a plan, you have an order, production order. You keep issuing goods, right? Let's say you keep issuing goods to manufacture something. Then you have not actually used 10, 11 pounds of soda, but you only use 10 pounds of soda, for example. Okay. So the 1 pound of soda, the balance is sitting in the shop floor. Nobody has used it. So the shop manager, the production manager will go and update the production order, saying that I have only used 10 pounds of soda for manufacturing, X number of bottles, for example. Got it? Then that's called confirmation. He confirms everything. Then after that, the one, just 1 second. Hello. Hey, Azir, can I call you back? Can I call you at like 9:30? 9:30? I will talk to you. I'll call you at 9:30. Is that okay? All right. Talk to you. Bye. Hello. Sorry. Yep. What I was saying is yes. Let's say another example. Instead of 11, let's say he used actually 12. இது முட்டை. So yeah. So which means that he actually issued 12. There's nothing left over, right? He actually consumed more. So even though the production order says 11, but he actually issued 12 because he needed it, because maybe due to something, due to, different situation, different, maybe more wastage, something has happened, then he actually issued more. Then again, he goes back and he doesn't have to do anything because he just has to confirm saying that, anyway, he still has to confirm how many he has used. The confirmation basically tells you that he has to confirm everything that's used, right? So that's once you confirm the order, so you have the production output. Once you confirm everything, then based on X number of raw materials that you used, based on X number of whatever it is, you already have a production output, right? So you know how much you're manufacturing. So let's say in your plan, you may have that, I use 10 raw materials, I get one finished product. Okay, but in the actual scenario, you have used 11 raw materials, okay, but use only one product, one finished goods, correct? So the one is a production output, okay, one is your production output, correct? So then record consumption is where you're talking about, where you're talking about. Let's say he is, let's say he used more than the required, more than 10. Instead of 11, sorry, instead of 10 he used 11. So that is why you use record consumption. No. The confirmation is only after the started. Confirmation. Yeah, because why they confirm it? Because they need to know the actual cost, right? I put in so many amount. I put in so much materials. I put in so much, activity hours. So I need to know the actual cost. So that is why you basically confirm. Yes, 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 yes. No. What you're talking about is a cost estimate. they already estimated. They have something called bill of material, where they will put in all the number of raw material they need, which is done there. When they actually manufacture it, okay, when they actually manufacture it, they use a production order. When they use a production order and they have finished goods, this is what I manufacture, right? And then the finished goods already says what they need to have the manufacture to manufacture the finished goods. What is the raw material? What is the quantity hours? What is the activity? Everything, right? So what based on that they will start they will start actually issuing the goods. They will start issuing everything. They will start everything. They start putting all the activity hours. When this goes on, at one point of time, let's say month end close. Okay, during the month end, you have to report. You have to stop and record all the quantities, all the hours spent, all the quantity spent, right? Because they have to close the books and they have to know how much inventory I have, how much activity hours I can spend, so that they have to pay salary to wages to those guys. So during the month end, they have confirmed saying that how much I spent for the production order so far. So when they do that, your inventory gets reduced, your production order cost will go up, correct? Your raw material will go down because you are used to the production order, right? So and then your production cost will go up, your cost of production because, or your production order cost will go up because you are used of the raw materials, correct? So you understand, Jess, Amir, do you have any questions? No, we are not even talking about sales here. We are just manufacturing. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, exactly. That's the whole purpose of this actual cost is during a period and close. When you're during a period and close, when I say period and close, month and close. When you do a month and close, okay, you have to know how much inventory you have. Okay. So the reason is some of the raw materials have been converted to semi-finished goods because it's being in the process of manufacturing. So it doesn't mean that it also has some value. What is the value? Whatever you issued, right? That's a value. So that's called work in progress, right? They call it work in progress. This is a very big thing in any company, manufacturing company, because work in progress is very important because your inventory is going down because your raw material cost is going down. But where is the cost? It's in the work in progress. So that is why end up every month end. Okay, what they will do is they have to settle all the orders. They'll confirm all the activities spent, all the materials issued. Okay, then yes, go ahead. Yes. Yeah, and then yeah, the GL will record this as a cost of goods, consumption. It will go to the consumption account. It will tell everything whatever consumed has been. It will show as a consumption account and shows that this is in this production order. So the work in progress guys will know where are my raw materials now, at what stage now, and why at this stage, what they are doing there, why they've been converted because of this production order, right? Not yet. Why would you? Because you are not sold yet, right? Right. So you're not. So you're still manufacturing it. So what I'm saying is, it's still the process. But end of the month, you're doing the inventory valuation. So we will see all this one by one later in details. Oh, sorry. I went to the next page. Yes. Okay, the reason I went there because you asked for an example, right? So that's why I went there. But we was we were somewhere here. Yep. So this is where we are showing, right? So what is settlement? I just showed you what is a settlement. When you settle the production order, all the costs will go to the finished goods. Okay. So there are two things. One is product cost by order, the other one by period. Okay. So when you settlement by order, okay, you release an order. When you release an order, okay, that's when you start collecting the cost. You create an order, you make sure everything is correct, then you release an order. When you release an order, that's when it goes into production stage. Okay. Then you can do a partial delivery. When you do a partial delivery, your actual cost will, okay, your actual cost minus any good receipts will be a work in progress, right? So you produce something. Okay, you produce something, you are delivering, let's say you're manufacturing 500 quantities, but you already delivered 250 quantities. That's a partial delivery, right? The remaining 250 quantity, they are not finished goods yet. They are work in progress, right? You understand? You got it, Amir? Yeah. Then, when it delivered completely, which is technically completed, then you have the actual cost minus good receipt is equal to variances. So that time you have the actual cost. Okay, you have the actual cost minus you do all the good receipts, then you find out the variances. So which is this is the actual cost, right? Right, you have the actual cost. But when you do a good receipt, which means when you say good receipts, there are two things. One is goods issue, another one is good receipts. You know what is the goods issue and good receipts? Very good. Yes. Yeah. Product goods issue is when you issue goods. Okay. You issue goods your to a supply chain, which is your assembly line, which is a production line. When you you receive goods to your supply chain, which is you are receiving goods. It's a finished goods. It could be finished goods or it could be raw materials. But this means this case it's a finished goods. You have spent X number of amount of raw materials, everything to produce a Toyota Camry, for example. So in let's say $18,000, in your books, the cost, the standard cost, or the standard price of your, sorry, the standard cost of this Toyota Camry is $18,000, but actual cost you spent is $19,000, right? So your variance is $1,000 negative because you overspent, right? That's called variances. In other situation where you settle by period, here you got periodic settlement, right? You have settled by period. So this is called period. When this goes by period, this is the same thing, okay? But here there's no partial delivery, like I said. But you will still do this because you have to have this. You have a period and close, and when you're doing a period and close, you have to make sure you have all the work in progresses counted for. You have to evaluate your work in progress. You have to know how much inventory I spent, how much goods I received, correct? Yes, it will be exactly. It will be carried forward to the next period. It will be opening balance. Then it will still manufacture, right? They will still manufacture, add value to the actual the production line. Then you have a again you have work in progress by end of period three. Then again in period three, again you have actual. Again you have a opening balance. Then you start manufacturing again until you finish your final product. So that's the difference between product cost by order versus by period. Okay, so this is the difference. By period is repetitive manufacturing. By period is a repetitive manufacturing. See, it just keeps going on, right? They keep manufacturing it. That could, there are some examples I would say. I guess, I don't know, maybe like people say, yeah, yeah, because they manufacture and manufacture like oil. You can store them for quite number of longer time, right? Like oil, like crude oil. They and seasonal products, for example, they could only do this in this 6 months. What they will do, they will do repetitively. They'll produce it and keep them in stock, and then they will sell it, right? Yeah, likewise. So, but product cost by order, the first one is based on order. When they get an order, okay, you have a purchase order, which means when you have a purchase order for 100 air conditioned machines, then you have to sell 100 air conditioned machines. So you create a sales order. When you create a sales order, then you decide, okay, do I have everything to sell this? So what do you first think? See, you have to have the resource to manufacture this 100 air conditioned machine, right? Then you create then you plan your sales order. When you plan your sales order, okay, you put them in a production order. Okay, so this is a very good cycle, guys. If you look at it, this is a very good cycle. Let's think about it. A customer, a customer wants to buy, let's say, a distributor placing an order for coming Thanksgiving. I want 100 Toyota Camry, for example. Okay, when the Toyota receives the order, what do? They confirm everything. Okay, when should I deliver? Where should I deliver? The price is good. The everything is good. The tax is good. Shipment location, everything is good. Then they convert this to a sales order. Okay, because they have to sell this on so and so date, right? In a sales order, they will say, okay, this is my product I'm selling to this customer. Delivery on so and so date. This is the price. This is the tax. This is my freight and everything. They put this together, which is for 100 finished goods, which is Toyota Camry. Then they have to do a sales order planning. When they do the sales order planning, they will do a materials requirement planning. Which means that in the sales order, they will say, okay, for to manufacture 100